Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to round 6 of the ILR3 Season 6 Championship. Tonight you join us in a wet Monaco. This should be interesting tonight. It's only qualifying that's wet. I'm not sure if the whole race is going to be wet. Sorry the stream cut out a second ago. That was just due to, well, I've relocated my PS4 to my brother's bedroom while we're like redoing the room that I'm usually in, so that unfortunately has kind of done something. But we're going to get ready to go on a flying lap, which will ride on board with Paga. Of course, it is wet, so these are only different lap times. But one thing the drivers are going to have to watch out for is the wet conditions. It's so easy just to clip the barrier, especially through, as you see there, through Raskas. It's very easy to just get that rear tyre tapped against the barrier and send your car the wrong way round. So they're going to have to watch out for that, as well as the oversteery and greasy conditions that wet weather presents. Anyway, we're going to go into Sandoval. Bit of oversteer there for Paga Anus. Then up through Beau Rivage before heavy braking into Massenet, kind of trail braking there. Just lift off completely before accelerating a bit before Casino. Then flat out again. They'll probably move to the right just to avoid the bump there. Then into Mirabeau Oats, that's the stuff you get in porridge. Anyway, then into the Grand Hotel hairpin, or Lowe's hairpin. I prefer Lowe's hairpin, or station hairpin, whatever you want to call it, which goes then into Mirabeau Bas, which leads into Portier. After Portier, we go along the coastline, through the tunnel, before heading into the Nouvelle Chicane, one area where we will see quite a few overtakes, potentially, but also just keep careful of that inside barrier there. Easy to clip your rear tyre on. That's one of the few places you can actually get corner cutting penalty from. Now through to back, lifting off, a bit of braking, then flat out through Louis Chiron into Piscine. You got to brake again. You can easily cut it here, and watch out for those big sausage curbs. Out of Piscine, then through turns 15 into Raskas, which is turn number 16, and he's clipped the barrier. Just as I was saying a minute ago, you've got to be careful of that. Through turns 17 and 18. Out of the final turn then towards the line. What kind of lap time is Paga going to set? It's only going to be a 1:21, 1:22.2. There's a lot of twos there. The only number that isn't a 2 is the 1 minute mark, and I suppose that's probably a good thing. But Dropier with the fastest lap so far, that's a 1:20.9. I do apologise for the stream cutting out earlier there. Kvyat FC Game Boys across the line then to start a flying lap. Oh, an invalidated lap actually. That was a 1:23.4 it looked like. Dropier only just in the 120 mark, and it looks like he's defending it fairly well. This dirty air is going to be quite a nightmare for Verstappen, because in the league race I commentated on Tuesday around Monaco, the wet conditions were not ideal for the start of the race. Well, you never know, we might get a wet race tonight. We've got wet qualifying, so that weather may certainly carry through towards the Sunday race, although I'm not sure about that. Anyway, the wet weather is really hard to overtake in on a normal day, but Monaco is no normal day. It is probably the hardest track to overtake on the calendar due to the nature of its tight barriers and winding turns. So the drivers are going to have to really go for it if they overtake. And there's some carbon fibre there. I think that was left off by the car in front of Verstappen as he goes through the swimming pool chicane into Raskas. I think, that was Kvyat FC Game Boys, it looked like. And he's going to go into the pits. Through Anthony Nogues then. What kind of lap time can Verstappen set? You've got to keep that oversteer under control around this track. Across the line though, it's going to be a 1:21.923. One thing we are going to have to watch out for though is the fact that the track may dry up towards the end of the session. CJ6 with a 1:20.6. That was an absolutely blistering lap time compared to some of the other lap times that are being set so far. It's a full 0.3 of a second faster than Dropier, whereas most people are getting in the 1:21s, 1:22s. Yeah, so hopefully we don't have any more internet related issues. But also through the tunnel it's completely dry, and I know from experience that wet weather tyres on dry track is never a good combination. I've had enough open lobby experience to tell you that much. Yeah, so when you have those inters on the dry track, you've got to be really careful that you try and keep the slippery under control as Owen Wyatt appears to fail to do that, and he loses his end plate on the front right of his wing, and he's going to have to come straight into the pits without sitting a lap time there. So that is unfortunate for him, but I think he was about to start an outlap, potentially. VRT Shipalili, he's on his outlap, as is Game Boys. Quite a few people out on track, but I think everyone's coming back in then. I think most people are satisfied with their laps so far. Maybe wait for a later bout, but right now there's a dry line, so being at the back of the salvo is going to be really useful, because both Renaults are actually in the top 3, each of them setting a lap time in the 1:20s, and as the drying line appears, it's going to be, their drivers are going to be able to set fast and faster lap times. As you can see on track there, all the water getting displaced by these tyres is going to be really assistant in them setting faster lap times. But anyway, there is yellow flags in Sector 2. I'm not entirely sure why that is. And here comes VRT Shapalili to try and set a lap time. I'm going to have a look to see if I can look at these comments, but I don't want to connect to my extender because that's what caused the stream to cut out last time. So I might have to blue screen you at the end of the session. But unfortunately that's just the way it goes. But here we go in towards Lowe's hairpin. I'm going to see if I can get it up. But unfortunately, if I connect to the extender, I run a high risk of cutting out my Wi-Fi, which is not ideal when I'm trying to stream a race. But good thing is I've got a very high upload speed. It's about 5 megabits per second. Well, that's high for the UK anyway. I don't know about you Dutchies with your like super bloody fast Wi-Fi. Lucky sods. If only I could have such good Wi-Fi. But we're going to continue, because we've still got a long way to go in this qualifying session. We're not even halfway yet. And there are yellow flags again. I suspect we'll be seeing a lot of yellow flags here. The blue flags are especially hard around this track, just because when you get given the blue flags, it's really hard to try and let someone through with them predicting what's going to happen and then you trying not to crash into them. But VRT Shapalili setting a 122.2 there. Now we've got QVR FC Game Boys heading through the next couple of chicanes. He's going slowly, so he might go in for a second flying lap. I think he must have messed up on this first lap, or he's just coming back into the pits. No, he's going to bump it all the way up to ERS mode 5 as it comes out of Raskas now through Anthony Nogues. Owen Wyatt's actually also about to start a lap just behind Game Boys. So we'll watch Game Boys as he heads towards Sandavot. Sandavot then on lap 1. That's going to be a place of intrigue, because we may see a lot of attempts at overtaking. Hopefully we don't see any heroics, because that will really upset some drivers. Not just their emotions, but also their races. It is very difficult to overtake through there, as I'm just going to blue screen you. Hello, Matches. I hope you're looking for... Oh, I just butchered your name. Sorry about that. But I hope you're looking forward to tonight's race, because I definitely am. Monaco is always a cracker. We've got 18 drivers, so hopefully at least some of them will make it to the line. That would be interesting if all of them managed to crash. But, well, it is Monaco. It's still possible to take it to the line. And let's hope that we have a decent amount of finishes tonight and not obscene DNFs, because that would be kind of poor. Just trying to get as close to those inside barriers as possible when it comes to Monaco. Just brushing the metal, give it a little clean, maybe deposit some sidewall rubber on it. But VRT Shapalili, it looks like he's having Wi-Fi issues because he's disconnected from the session. There are yellow flags in Sector 1 though. Here comes QVR FC Game Boys out of Anthony Nogues towards the line. Keeping it nice and tight to the inside, try and reduce that run, and it's going to be 7th place. Now we'll hop back down to Owen Wyatt across the line, and he's going to set a 1:21.9, and that's going to put him in 13th place, but he was only 8 thousandths of a second, off Verstappen. And Paga has actually taken provisional pole with a 1:20.6. I just noticed that. Oh, and that looks like a bit of a moment there for Owen. He's lucky to keep that out of the barrier. Here comes the Ginger then. I can't tell if he's on a hot lap or not. It looks like that was an out lap. Here is Cohen Blige. He's in 15th. He'll be looking to improve that position. I mean, it's not exactly ideal, is it? But there are yellow flags in Sector 3. Not entirely sure why that is. It looks like someone may have had a bit of an issue here in Raskas. I'm not quite sure. Maybe, yeah, just clipping that inside rear tyre on the barrier. That's always a danger because these cars are wider at the rear than they are at the front. So that is something I have to watch out for. And it doesn't look like Cohen... Oh, Cohen did manage to improve one position there. And he was just 1,000th of a second off Owen Wyatt's time. And I'm sure he'll be disappointed in that as he lets Dropier through. Not Dropier. I think that was Torpedro through as we head up past Sandevot into... even Beaurivage into Massenet. So Owen Wyatt there in the pits is Torpedro. Hopefully we won't be seeing any torpedoing it tonight. I'll find a low. I'll have a quick look at that comment actually. How is the weather in the race? I'm not quite sure. I'm gonna toss a little question mark into the chat and see what the race is going to look like. Oh, getting very close to that inside barrier there on the exit. Torpedro looked like he ran a bit deep into the Nouvelle chicane. Is it a wet race is the question on everyone's mind though. So I'll be pitching that question to the group chat. I'm not even going to bother with grammar. Is it wet race? Hopefully they'll understand. Yay, I got mentioned in a tweet. Time to retweet that. Like and retweet, of course. Don't forget to do it yourself. Okay, it's not going to be a wet race, actually. It's going to be dry as Dropier sets the fast lap with a 1 minute 19.8. So that drying line is really boosting these lap times. And, yeah, Owen Wyatt, he's saying he's struggling in the wet conditions. Oh, and that was a bit of oversteer there for Torpedro. Yellow flags in Sector 1. They're all over the place here with 4.5 minutes left. The line really is drying. Is the rain relenting? I'm not quite sure. But yeah, 1 minute 19 from Dropier. He improved by a second that lap. So that is something quite amazing. And it does show that these lap times are going to tumble soon. Only one driver with a 1:23, and that's KRT Luca. The race started slightly late today because someone decided that forgot to, sorry, that'd be a bit mean to say decided, but forgot to let us know that they weren't available tonight. And it appeared that they're playing Fortnite, but I think we can let that one slide. I'm not entirely sure what was happening there, so hopefully we can have a good race anyway. We've got 18 drivers, and I think KRT Luca is... yeah, I think KRT Luca is reserving tonight. He is in the Racing Point. Almost said Force India there. That's a commonly made mistake. Here he is though. He's heading through Beaurivage now. I do like the Monaco circuit though. Here comes Spaghetti Chips across the line. It's going to be a 1:20.3, so improved by 0.4 of a second there. Not too bad. Kryptonite, on the other hand, is heading into the Lowe's hairpin right now. Josh Mayer there, Verstappen through Massenet. Look how slowly they have to go through the hairpin. We can see that from Tomo. And I was doing a lap earlier, managed to set a 1 minute 12.8. So that's probably a lap time these guys can beat in the wet, to be honest. I'm not the fastest of drivers. I think we can all agree on that. And that's why I'm commentating over the race tonight, in fact. Who's nearly at the line? It looks like... Well, Luca is close. He is on that lap. He's improved by half a second there, but he's hit the barrier as he goes through the swimming pool chicane. He does keep touching the wall. And if you have too much contact, your lap time can get invalidated. So that's something they're going to have to look out for. With just 2 minutes left, he's going to head up towards the line, really eating that curb. You don't want to get too close to it, though, because it can spin you out. But he's going to set a 1:22.9. So not quite fast enough to... take any other position other than last, unfortunately for him. Lawman's hitting the barrier there on the exit of Tabac, though. Is that damage for the Toro Rosso? It looks like it. Yeah, he's got damage on both sides of his wings as he completely cuts the swimming pool chicane. So that has not gone well for him, I think we can agree. The Verstappen, on the other hand, is just going through Sandevot now. Josh Mayer is going into the casino turn there. Paga heading up through Beau Rivage. So who's nearly out the line? Loads of people are just on the first area of the track. Here comes Wyatt. He's 6/10 up towards the line. There's the yellow flags as Lawmans and Spaghetti Chips retire. We've still got 1 minute and 20 seconds remaining. Those yellow flags do go though. And here comes Owen Wyatt across the line. It's going to be fourth there, so it's going to be third and fourth for the two Red Bulls. Dropier holding provisional pole. He's on his outlap. It is all boiling down towards the end of this session. The dry line really coming into play now. Look how close these drivers are. Josh Mayer heading through to back towards Louis Chiron, followed by the swimming pool chicane, which leads out towards turn 15, and then Rascasse, the very famous turn with Monte Carlo Casino on the inside. On the exit of Anthony Nogues then, that's where it's all important, because you never get up to gear 8 around this track, and you can't change the gearing in this game, unfortunately. But it's going to be third position for the McLaren. That is quite close. At the top then, all of these drivers about to finish lap times. Here comes Paga. We've got 25 seconds remaining. Across the line, he's going to improve to third position. Now Owen Wyatt is just coming out of the Nouvelle chicane. Let's have a look. Here comes LR Denis across the line. He's going to take third position this evening. Verstappen there just going through the casino turn. Who's ahead in sector 3? Anyone? I don't know, but there's a bit of contact there for Dougie. He's understeered a bit through to back into the swimming pool chicane then. What can he pull out of his Alfa Romeo as he has a big drift on the exit of the swimming pool chicane? Owen Wyatt's up to second position there. Dropier holding onto his provisional pole, the only driver to set at 1 minute and 19. He's got some serious pace in the wet here. Across the line though, what can Dougie Falcon set? He's going to improve by 1.5 tenths of a second, but he's not going to improve any positions. Here comes Tomo then through Rascasse to set his next lap time. He's currently on a 1:13. His current lap time's a 1:21.3 even. Across the line then. What's it going to be? It's going to be 7th place with a 1:20.5, improving 7 tenths of a second there then. Very good racing, or qualifying even. Here comes the Sap, and he's almost out of ERS, and he's going rather slowly, so let's ignore him. Here comes Paga then. Can he improve? No, he can't. He's going to stay as a 1:20.5, and that's going to leave him in fifth as on the exit of Anthony Nogues. LR Denis having some severe issues with the barrier. Across the line then, he's not going to improve. In fact, he's 1.5 seconds down. It's just QVR Cohen Blige then who's going into the pits, as is Josh Mayer. So in the meantime, I'm going to have a quick look at these comments. Here we go, Spaghetti Chips. This is going to be an excellent race from what I can tell from this qualifying, which has been rather entertaining. I think you have to admit that. There's a bit of carbon fibre here and there on the track, but nothing too bad. One thing I've noticed though is on the apexes of the barriers, it's painted orange, or most of them anyway, just to let the drivers know not to crash into them, but to get as close as possible, which is kind of ironic if you think about it. But yeah, just Quaver Cohen Blige to return to his pit box, and we can get going. There we go. Dropier then in first place. So the qualifying order, it's going to be Dropier and pole, followed by Owen Wyatt, Spaghetti Chips, LR Denis, 69, Paganez, 21, Josh Mayer, D43, Tomo, CJ6, Kryptonite, QVR Cohen Blige, Verstappen RB 33, The Gingers, 21, TNR, Top Pedro, QVR FC Game Boys, Lawmans, Dougie Falcons, 97, VRT Shapalili, and KRT Luca rounding off the grid. I'll have a quick look at these comments. The top guys, everyone's separated by 3.2 seconds, although the top 8 separated by less than 1 second. So it is all to play for tonight. Of course, wet pace does not equal dry pace by any stretch of the imagination. I'm just having a look to see how close some of these drivers were, and look at that. There are some very small gaps, not like the 1,000th of a second though we had between two drivers earlier in the session, but it will be dry, and I think it's going to stay dry for the whole of the race. So let's get ready. Yeah, it's looking dry for us, and you can see the mountain of Monte Carlo in the background with the high rises all over it. Monaco, the city of glamour, the city of glitz. But anyway, the drivers will be finalising their strategies before we get going here in Monte Carlo for the Monaco Grand Prix round 6 of the championship here in ILR3, and it's set to be a good race. You join me, Barless, in the commentary box before we get going on this formation lap. And just 25 seconds before that will begin, maybe even less than that if everyone decides to ready up, but we all know that's never going to happen. There's always one, and it looks like most of them haven't readied up yet, as you can see on the right there. But on the left, you can see the Mercedes garages of CJ Slicks, and I can't quite make out the name of the person next to him. Quite a few Dutch drivers in the lobby tonight, also some British and some from elsewhere. And my remote has decided to stop charging. But anyway, 39 laps to go here in Monaco. Let's get started on the formation lap. It's all about the start here in Monaco. Saint-Devote. Some drivers may say, be careful into Saint-Devote. But the real problem is, if you don't make an overtake on lap 1, you're not really going to be able to... It's going to be very hard to overtake, for the rest of the race. So that's something the guys are going to have to be really careful about. They've got to find that balance between aggression and keeping out of the barrier. I mean, it sounded like I was going to say something a bit more intelligent there, but, you know, lots of elevation change around this track as well. As you can see, we're at pretty much the lowest point of the track here. The highest point is up towards Massenet, which is turn 3 or 4. I don't know. I try and remember the names of this track, but there's no doubt I'll forget them at some point of the race, and I'll just be there silent, like I've just done now. But yeah, Dropier is on pole position then. Owen Wyatt in second in a Renault sandwich. So Owen, he did manage to improve actually. He said he struggled in the wets, but he managed to take second, so that's not too bad. Spaghetti Shits then is the other Renault in Owen's sandwich. That sounded really weird. Yeah. We'll just forget that was said, but I think that should look alright. I've got rid of the hints. That is the top driver lining up then. We'll get rid of the hints because they just look horrible. Because I think at this point, after doing this for a year and a half, I should know the hotkeys for everything. But Dropier there at the front. We're just waiting on Luca to line up then. 39 laps to go here in Monaco. The drivers are lining up on the grid. It's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights are out, and away we go. Held there for next to no time. It's a good start from Dropier, but behind it's LRGT losing positions as it's not gone well down the order as we head through Beau Rivage. It is very close. Look at this. LRGT trying to get past Paggy. He's not going to be able to. It is very close in towards Massenet. Then side by side as down the inside goes the Ginger on, it looked like Kryptonite there. Very close. He's going to go down the inside there of Cohen Blige. He's locked up the front right though. And Verstappen is going to try and get past him as down the inside goes Verstappen. He's going to take one. Can he take two into Lowe's hairpin? And it's become a complete traffic jam. Dougie Falcons is also battling with Lawmans in the background there as there's a bit of argy-bargy between Ginger and Verstappen. Ginger's going to come out on top heading towards the Nouvelle Chicane then. It's going to be very interesting to see who comes out where though, because Dougie Falcons is right up the rear wing of QVR FC Game Boys down the inside into the Nouvelle Chicane. There's contact and that's front wing damage for the Alfa Romeo. Side by side again towards the back. That is not good there for Dougie. He's going to have to swap for a new front wing. As KRT Luca loses a position to VRT Shabalili. He had a bit of a moment there, it looked like, with oversteer. And that is really unfortunate for him. And yeah, he's hitting the barriers again. There must be damage to that Force India. I'm going to have a quick look now. Yeah, there's heavy damage to his Force India actually. That's really unfortunate for him. But Dougie Falcons is going to continue, even though I think he's got front wing damage. Yeah, he does. That front right end plate is nowhere to be seen. And that is something we'll be seeing a lot, actually. Lots of damage. Heading it towards Casino, then. It is very close into Mirabeau. There's so many turn names around this track. It's ridiculous. Then Lowe's hairpin. Dropier already with a 1.5 second lead. That's very good speed there from the Renault driver. This Haas is still trailing, but he's not close enough to be able to do it. So we're going to hop down to Josh Mayer and ILRGT. It's quite a close gap between them, and I have a feeling we might see something interesting pulled out of the box by either of these drivers. We're going to get rid of this. None. That's in Italy, so I don't remember that being like that before. Lots of drivers starting on the mediums, others starting on the softs. The bottom four all starting on the hards. That's interesting. Strategy is going to play quite a big part of the race then. Look at this. Josh Mayer, though, he's right up the backside of ILRGT. As we head out of Sandoval in towards Massenet. Too many turn names here, of course. Oh, and that's Josh Mayer inside ILRGT. I said he was going right up the backside. I didn't say he was going in the backside. And this has taken a turn for the worse here in the commentary box. But Verstappen is going to overtake Cohen. That was a good move there. Side by side on the exit of Casino. He's managed to get it into Mirabeau. Or the Mirabeau top, or whatever you want to call it. Mirabeau Ut, if you please. Or whatever. But, I'm going to take this moment to have a look. Can we see the tyres? You can, but first, it's ILRGT having a quick tussle here with Josh Mayer. This is very close. Battling between all of the drivers, actually. It's really entertaining. Into the swimming pool chicane. Very, very neat there from the Toro Rosso and the McLaren drivers. Lawmans is still close behind Cohen as we head out of the swimming pool chicane. Can either of them make an overtake? It looks like it's going to stay this order as they head towards the start-finish line to start lap number 4 of the race. Speaking of lap number 4 then, out of Sandoval, Kryptonite trying to make an overtake here, but he just can't make it work on CJ6. We said earlier how that Monaco just... it's impossible to overtake on, and we're seeing that. Let's have a quick look then at position change. Most people have stayed in the same place, and that's just because of the nature of this track, unfortunately. But it's all going to come down to strategy now. This order will stay roughly the same. We might see an overtake here or there, but it is all strategy now. Who's going to make the pit stop when? It's going to be a game of chicken. Everyone is pretty much on the same tires. Those bottom 4 already a 20-second gap. Game Boy is really struggling for pace, it looks like. I'm not sure. Maybe they've all... yeah, they've all stopped. That's why they're 20 seconds behind. That explains it. But this is quite an excellent start to the Grand Prix, and we're already on lap 5 here. It is all kind of getting heated, though. The battle for 6th place is about to begin. So we'll stay tuned for that then. Another problem with Monaco, of course, is that there's only one straight, and that one straight, you only go up to 7th gear. As well as it's the only DRS straight, we don't have 2, but Lawman's on Cohen Blige. They're going to go side by side into Massenet, and QER Cohen Blige are holding the inside line, and he's going to defend from this Toro Rosso on the exit there. That was a very close move, and no damage to either of the cars, it looks like, from that. This is very close. Lawmans is right up the gearbox there of Cohen. And he does want that position, as you can see. It is very, very close here. They are battling their hearts out here. Whereas on the other hand, through the swimming pool chicane we go. And it looks like Josh just isn't oh, Josh has had a spin! He's lost the traction and he's dropped it on the exit there of Raskas, and that is unfortunate for him because it means Deneen is closing up. Now he is holding 5th position, but it means this pack behind him are battling for 6th and now all battling for 5th just due to the proximity of the McLaren driver now that he made that mistake. But CJ6 and T43 Tomo, the 2 teammates, nearly side by side through Massenet as we head towards Mirabeau Utz. It's down the inside, goes CJ6, they're side by side towards those hairpin. It looks like CJ is going to take the position there off his teammate, and Kryptonite trying to get in on the action. He's not going to be able to as Dougie Falcons goes into the pits there. And it looks like he's going to strap on the hard tyres. Kryptonite though, he is very close, look at this. Oh my goodness, I've skipped off it, and side by side into the Nouvelle chicane. Kryptonite's cut the corner a bit there, and he's had a poor exit. And Tomo's going to hold on to 8th position as we head through to back in towards the Chiron chicane, which is followed very swiftly by the swimming pool chicane. We've got the helicopter angle, well known to be my favourite, as Ginger has a 3-second time penalty, and he's just closing up on the back here, as it looks like, yeah, Tomo had some damage or something, or his tyres have probably run out, and he's going to go into the pits. Let's get those tyres up again. But this is absolutely fantastic racing. Torpedro also getting a time penalty. It's difficult to corner cut with those on this track. There aren't many corners to cut, but those that are there are very easy to cut, is what I meant to say. And we're seeing that now because quite a few drivers are already getting penalties. We've still got a fair amount to go. We're only... Let me think about this quickly. We're only about 1/6 of the way through. We have got quite some way to go. And it's going to be quite interesting because in the background here, you can see Ginger and Verstappen having a bit of a tussle for P9. All of them are in the points. Normans is just outside the points at this point in time, if you see what I did there. That was really bad. CJ6, though, he is very close behind Deneen. So I'm sorry I keep flicking around and stuff, but this is just too interesting to miss. CJ6 is in 7th. Can he get 6th position? I'm having some serious deja vu here. I think we might have had a similar battle in Season 5 around Monaco. I don't know, though. I just had some mega deja vu. But we can continue. That was weird. CJ Slicks. They're closing up. Kryptonite getting a 3-second time penalty. One thing I have yet to mention on a stream about F1 is the F1 Grand Prix, as Luca retires from the session, so we're going to be brought away from that quickly, as Josh Mayer has spun it around on the exit of Casino, and that's going to put him all the way down to 10th. He's got some serious damage, as there goes the Lawman's getting past him, and it looks like he's done a Sebastian Vettel there. And yeah, I'm bringing it back to that topic of the Grand Prix, where Sebastian Vettel did a bit of an oopsie. And he did what he's best known for, and he drops it at the Ascari chicane. Italy even, after last season here in ILR3. I'm looking forward to out of all the races tonight, as down the inside goes VRT Shapalili into Mirabeau, side by side then towards Lowe's hairpin. Gameboy's trying to keep his nose in, but it looks like the McLaren has got that position by sending it around the outside. Spaghetti Chips in the pits then. It looks like the pit window is well and truly open. But yeah, I think what Vettel did was fully deserving of his 10-second stop-go penalty, purely because it was very dangerous and he nearly took out Lance Stroll. But I think Lance Stroll was a bit of a hypocrite for complaining about what Sebastian Vettel did, and then he did exactly what Sebastian Vettel did, except he didn't take out Pierre Gasly, which he was fortunate for. I mean, if he'd taken out Pierre Gasly, it would have been very bad for him. And now I'm going to get up the stops, because it is all going down now, and I know that everyone's going to be going on to probably the opposite tire that they started on. And Game Boy's clearly having a front wing change. He's on the hards, but he's going to have to go into the soft mediums even. He might even run out of tyres tonight. And have to strap on an old set if worst comes to worst. But CJ6 then still behind LR Deneen through Raskas. He's getting close, but Deneen's going to go into the pits, and now Kryptonite is closing up on the back of CJ. I don't think he's going to be close enough. Right now, the two Red Bulls are in 2nd and 3rd. Dropier's still with a lead of 3 seconds. He is absolutely dominating here, and I'm looking forward to interviewing him on the podium. Of course, that is if he makes it to the podium. You never know, as we only a quarter of the way through. Anything can happen around Monaco. That is one thing I've taken away from F1. Monaco, you never know what's going to happen. He might be leading on the final lap and crash. You just can't tell. We've already had one crash so far, or one DNF. We've had a couple crashes. None too serious, apart from Josh's. I'm not sure what happened to Luke. He must have just dropped it, but he was a reserve as far as I'm concerned, so it wasn't too serious. It didn't really have any championship repercussions. but Cohen Blige is close to Dougie Falcons. Can he get the position as they go through Mirabeau? Not even Mirabeau, as they go through Massenet towards Mirabeau. Dougie is going to stay in front. I'm getting so hungry. I can smell chicken being cooked downstairs, you know. Oh, but returning to the race, that was a bit of an offshoot from the action. Paget is in the pits. Bit of an alliteration there for you. An alliteration, that's not correct, but who cares? Cohen is close behind Dougie. Is he close enough though? It doesn't quite look like it. Whereas Verstappen, I think, yeah, let's hold on to this battle. But if Verstappen gets close enough to Ginger, we'll hop back up to him. He is close though, and I think he's heading along the straight. No, he's not. They're heading into Lowe's hairpin. So we'll just get this ready to flick back onto that battle for 13th, and I think we're going to have to do that because Cohen is going down the inside into Sandevot, and he's nearly forced Dougie into the barrier in towards Beau Rivage. Then can Dougie try and get back that position? It doesn't look like he's close enough to be able to. Through Massenet, and he's going to have to concede that and hold on to 14th now. Tianato Pedro setting the fastest lap with a 1:11.9. That's faster than the lap I set in time trial. So yeah, it goes to show that there's a reason I commentate as the Gingers run deep into Massenet, into Raskas even, and that's going to gift Verstappen the position on a silver platter. That is not ideal for the Haas, but he is willing to fight back into Sandevot. He is close, but not quite close enough. Lawmans, on the other hand, is hopping on to get a bit of the action as we go through Beau Rivage towards Massenet, who's going to come out on top. It looks like Verstappen has taken 5th, and he's going to be able to hold on to it, although they are going to have to pit at some point. They're on the mediums though, and they should be able to go for a while yet. Dropier really stretching out his softs, but it looks like those are dropping off because he's lost quite a bit of time. He's now only 2.5 seconds ahead of Owen Wyatt. So I'm going to have a quick look to see if he's got damage. It doesn't look like it. It looks like his tyres might just be dropping off at this point. The Ginger is losing buckets of time to Lawmans now. Verstappen clearly had the pace. He was just bottled up behind the Haas. Josh Mayer is close behind Dougie Falcons, but Lawmans is close behind the Ginger. The two Haas's. No, not even that. One Haas is in a battle, the other is not. Dropier finally going into the pits then with his softs. So we can see that these softs will last around 10 laps. It's all about how far these mediums can go, because it is all about tyre life when it comes to Monaco. It's all about the strategy. You don't want to be making 2 stops. It is certainly a one-stop race here. Of course, excessive stops can happen due to front wing damage. As there goes Dropier, and he's going to come out right in this battle. He is not going to be pleased about that as he goes side by side through Beau Rivage with the Ginger into Massenet. He's going to come out just on top of the Haas. That was very close. Heart in your mouth moment there for the net race leader. Lawmans is just behind the Ginger after that into Mirabeau. He's not quite able to make an overtake there, but that was heart-stopping where Dropier came out. He is very lucky to have just come out in front of him. Had he been a couple tenths of a second later, he may have even been taken out there. It is just so risky taking it side by side through Beau Rivage and Sandevot and that kind of area, but anyway, we're going to head down to Josh Mayer because he is trying to get past Dougie Falcons through Massenet as we head towards Mirabeau Oaks. Can he take the position off Dougie? It doesn't look like it. He's so close though. It's almost as if he can touch that position. Through Lowe's hairpin then. Lawmans is also battling with the Ginger. So we'll stay with this battle for a moment, but we might have to go up to that as Lawmans is, the Ginger is in the pits. But Verstappen, on the other hand, has just been overtaken by Dropier. Dropier is serious pace then. He's been able to make an overtake as well and lead the race. So he is currently blasting off with this lead. Look at that. He's in 4th. The 2 people behind him haven't pitted and the 3 people in front of him haven't pitted. That is just excellent strategy and some really good pace from the driver. Now it's all to see whether Owen Wyatt, can he get the undercut done? I don't think he's going to be able to get 3 seconds, but the Ginger has just been overtaken by Chapelili through Beau Rivage into Massenet. He might be trying to battle back He has finally made his pit stop. He's on the hards. They're both on the hards. Although Shapalili's are quite old compared to the Gingers. The Gingers are brand new even. Shapalili's are 12 laps old. So the Ginger is going to be suffering some unnecessary tyre wear here, which might hurt his strategy. He won't be pleased about that as Deneen gets a 3-second time penalty. I have a quick look at this comment. Sorry about that. Hi Sam, I hope you're enjoying the race so far. It's been fantastic from what we've seen. And we are currently on lap 15 of 39. We're almost halfway. And we've still got a long way to go. And I've been enjoying every moment of it, as I'm sure you guys who are watching have been too even. Maybe you have been too odds, you never know. I don't know where I was going with that, but this is the closest battle on track between the Ginger and Shapalili. The Ginger will be desperately trying to get past this McLaren because his tyres are much fresher, and this is not going to be helping his strategy. The fact that he's on fresh rubber, he should be able to set fast lap times, but he's stuck doing the same lap times as someone on tyres which are 12 laps older than his, which is not an ideal situation there. But up at the top, CJ6. I went the long way round there, but CJ6 is very close to Owen Wyatt, the race leader. Still got a while yet before the... no, he's going to pit now, actually. Is there damage for the Red Bull? There might be. Is he going to go onto the hards then? It looks like, yeah, he's going to have to go onto the hards. In the pits then, yeah, he's getting a front wing change. He's clearly sustained a bit of damage and he can't go onto the softs. There's no way he can take the softs 25 laps or 23 laps, however many are left. I don't really know. I'm not keeping on top of it too well. But the Ginger and VRT Shapalili still very close through the swimming pool chicane. And it's going to be interesting where Owen comes out. He's clear of Tomo by about 30 seconds though, so that's someone he won't have to worry about. Someone who Shapalili is going to have to worry about is the Ginger, who's got his DRS, ERS and slipstream in towards Saint-Devot. Can he make the overtake? He's not quite close enough. Through Beau Rivage then, the dirty air does not help around this track because it is so tight and windy. The drivers will be running probably next to full downforce wings. As Dougie also makes a pit stop. Hamilton. Just kidding, we won't talk about that here. But Charles Leclerc did win the race earlier, and I'm sure he'll be pleased with that. It was an excellent drive from him. Verstappen, for the second week running, gets taken out into lap 1, which was really annoying for me. I'm sure you Verstappens out there, all you Verstappen fans out there would agree, such as Verstappen, who pits now coincidentally. He probably has damage as well, I'm not sure, unless that might have been his first pit stop. Let's have a quick look. Yeah, that is just his first stop though. He's gone on to some fresh hards to take him to the end of the race. And those drivers who've stopped to go on mediums, I don't think they're going to go to the end, and it might have to even be a 2-stop strategy for some of them, unless they're expecting to get front wing damage. Then it might have been a decent call from them, because you don't want to have to take off the hards when there's quite a few laps to go. So it might, I don't know. I'm not sure what's going on in the minds of some of these drivers, to be honest. But Verstappen is nowhere to be seen. It's Owen Wyatt and LR Deneen on the screen. That was a rhyme and a half. I'm spitting bars here in the commentary box around Monaco. But Owen Wyatt, he is going to be trying to overtake Deneen. His tyres are 6 laps fresher into the Nouvelle chicane. No overtakes to be managed here. But Dropier is close behind Kryptonite, and I think we're obliged to have a look at this because Dropier is, of course, the net leader out of Saint-Devot, then side by side through Beau Rivage. Dropier is going to take the position. I think Kryptonite is just going to have to back off there. Good move from Dropier, and it's just too risky to go side by side. It's much better to lose a position and be gentle rather than hold on to the position by being rough and then crash. But the Ginger is still behind Shapalili. He just can't get through, and this has been 4 laps now that he hasn't been able to get past the McLaren, and he's going to be fuming as we go through Saint-Devot though towards Beau Rivage. Will we see an overtake here? A bit of a clip with the barrier into Mirabeau there side by side. It's Massenet in fact towards Casino. Down the inside goes the Ginger. There's contact with the barrier. He's had to back off of Chapelili though through the next couple of turns into Mirabeau, which leads towards Lowe's hairpin. That was an intense couple of turns there. And Cohen, of course, is quick to join on the action. He's in 13th, just behind these drivers. They're battling for 11th. But when it all comes down to pit stops, that might even be 10th. Towards the Nouvelle chicane, there's another stop as Owen Wyatt gets a 3-second time penalty. Penalties might be the decider of this race, you never know. Dropgate is gaining on CJ Slicks as well. CJ has yet to make a pit stop as far as I can tell. He's the only driver yet to have stopped actually, as we are halfway through the race. Interestingly enough. But I'm just having a look. Owen, he's trying to get past Deneen, but I don't think Deneen is going to let him through. Unless he makes a mistake or someone ahead makes a mistake, Owen's not going to make up a position, which is the nature of Monaco. So, unfortunately for them, they're going to have to stay in these positions. This is quite a cracker. I said to Jack actually before the race when he asked if I could do commentary, if I was available, I said yeah. I was like, Monaco's always a cracker, and what a cracker it's turned out to be. This isn't your ordinary cream cracker. This is one with cheese and cream and everything like that. Cheese and cream, whatever. Cream and butter and oh, it's a good cracker of a race. That's what I'm getting at here. In quite a roundabout fashion, but Dropgate is now back in the lead. He has overtaken CJ. CJ's tyres are really old, so those mediums we can see can make it 20 laps. Can they make it any further? Actually, Kryptonite hasn't pitted either. I was wrong when I said CJ is the only one yet to pit. As we go through Raskas, the Ginger finally decides to... finally, he's only just stopped. He's going to stop again as Torpedro gets another time penalty, but the Ginger stopping again, and that's clearly due to damage because those halves are only 5 laps old. As Deneen, has he made a mistake? Because it looks like he's lost a position and he's missing front wing, and that's Owen Wyatt up into 6th position, so there must have been a mistake. Maybe on the exit of Casino he might have dropped it on the traction or going over that bump in between Casino and Mirabeau. Very interesting, and that was quite loud. He slammed my glass down the table. CJ finally decides to pit. And those drivers who are trying to take those mediums to the end, I don't think it's going to be possible. The Ginger is on fresh tyres, it looks like. We're going to get rid of the tyres momentarily now, because I just want to have a look at this action, because Verstappen is in a Toro Rosso sandwich. Or you could say a Toro Rosso taco, even though that has nothing to do with the Italian team. But anyway, in towards Sandevot. Verstappen very close. I think, yeah, they're all on hard tyres, so it's a very even match. They're all in equal cars, of course. Equal performance in towards Massenet side by side, and there's contact there. Verstappen nearly losing a position. In fact, he's side by side with Lormans. Lormans having to back off though. No damage there for Verstappen, even though he had a half a drift going through Massenet. That is very lucky for him into Lowe's hairpin. There is just centimetres between himself and Deneen, and he was side by side with Lormans on the exit. He just managed to get a bit more speed on the traction and hold on to 8th position, but it was only just, and it is coming very, very close here between these drivers. The battle for 7th is raging on as we go into the Nouvelle chicane. A bit of a lock up there for Lormans, or for Deneen even. He's under pressure as there's yellow flags as Torpedro retires from the session. That's in sector 3. He's probably lost it roughly here. We can see the yellow flags in towards the St. chicane. He's sideways there. That ghosting, and that's put Deneen off, and Deneen's in the barrier, and he's got damage. He's got severe damage. There's contact, rocking up into Raskas. Lormans went into the back of Verstappen. Tomo as well, closing up there. Did he get damage from that? That sideways has really put Deneen off. He wasn't sure whether it ghost or not. As we go out Sandevot side by side through Beaurivage, it's all going down on lap 21 and 22. In towards Massenet, down the inside goes Verstappen. He's side by side. Has he got the position into Casino? It looks like he's got that done and dusted, because of course Deneen has got that underset from the front wing damage. Tomo now is closing up. Tomo's got his full front wing, unlike the Toro Rosso, but that is really bad news for the Toro Rosso team. It has not been their couple of laps here. Very unfortunate, but Shapalili is up into the points positions, and QVR Cohen Blige will probably try and demote him down to just outside if he can make the overtake. 16 drivers left though, and we're on lap 23. That's not too bad. We haven't had as many DNFs as I expected, to be honest, but you never know. They might come at the end when the drivers begin to lose concentration. It is a long way to go still, as Tomo trying to send it down the inside into the Chiron chicane, but he's not quite able to. But I'll tell you what, Paga and Spaghetti Chips through Beau Rivage in towards Massenet. They are very, very close. I've just spilt my glass of water over me because I'm just getting so excited, as there's a 5-second time penalty for Lawmans. And something else happened before that. What am I doing? I don't even know. Kryptonite yet to pit, but these two drivers have both pitted. Paga's on newer mediums, but only a couple laps old, and those mediums will start to drop off, and I think Paga might even have to make a second stop. Kryptonite has yet to stop though, as Lawmans is out of the session here, and it looks like that was... Where did he retire? He must have retired in the pits, I think, but that is unfortunate for him. I'm going the long way back, whether you like it or not. Unlucky for you guys, but yeah, was it? He must have binned it into Raskas or something, although that car has probably been cleared. No safety car or anything like that yet, which is rather interesting. But I said a few minutes ago, there's a lot, like literally a minute ago, there's been a lot less DNFs than I expected. And of course, the curse of the commentator had to strike at that moment and give us another DNF. But we'll go down to Paga and Spag. Paga and Spag, I suppose, because they are battling for the podium. In fact, they're both net on the podium once Kryptonite makes a stop, although Paga might have to do a second stop. So lots of variation in strategy here in Monaco tonight, and it is all very, very interesting. I think we can all agree with that, as there's a bit of a lock-up into those hairpin for Spaghetti Chips. He's just defending for his life here, whereas Tomo is trying to get past Deneen as we go into Massenet. Down the inside he goes. Can he get the position there side by side into Casino? There's front wing damage on that Toro Rosso, I think, and he's just going to have to concede the position. Cohen is very close behind Shapalili, as well as a bit of a lock-up there into Mirabeau Alt for the Toro Rosso, and it's become a bit of a traffic jam here. Really bad damage actually for the Toro Rosso of Shapalili. Oh, not of Shapalili. He's not even in the Toro Rosso of Deneen, and that is going to hinder him quite severely. Up at the top though, Paga is close behind Spaghetti Chips, so we'll be able to switch to that at a moment's notice. And there's damage, and that's Deneen. He's hit the inside barrier of the Nouvelle chicane, and Shapalili went into the back of him, and that's damage for the McLaren as well. Absolute scenes here in Monaco, and it has not gone well for the Toro Rosso team at all. This is just going downhill for them in the latter half of the race. The Ginger getting a time penalty, but that is bad news for Shapalili as well. He got damage. Cohen hasn't. He just about managed to stay out of that area there, that little kerfuffle, I suppose. And now Cohen, this is his best opportunity to try and overtake the McLaren. In fact, Shapalili might even decide to go to the pits if he doesn't feel like he's able to defend. Have a quick look at the tyres as well, because actually both their tyres are rather old. Cohen will have to pit at some point, as will Paga. I don't know though, because Shapalili pitted on lap 3. His tyres are 23 laps old. I have no idea how far those hards can go. We've got 15 laps left, and of course we can see that the mediums. Kryptonite has he forgotten to pit? Maybe he's going for the one stop actually, a very tardy one stop as well. We've seen that we can take those mediums 25 laps. Yeah, in fact, those hards can probably make it to the end from the start of the race. Cohen, he can probably go on to the softs soon and take those to the end actually. Just from, I don't know actually. He needs to take these mediums still another 15 laps, which 32 laps. It's going to have to be a real stretch. And this battle is not helping him as he goes through Beau Rivage. He probably will make another pit stop and he'll go into the softs. Shapalili might have to. I'm not quite sure what the situation for him is. Unfortunately, I can't read their minds or ask them live questions, as much as that would be awesome. There's no team radio feature in this game. Well, that would be interesting if you could get a team radio feature in this game and they ask something like that to the engineer, but I suppose it kind of get boring after a while. Yeah, I don't know. My glass of water is almost depleted, unfortunately. So I'm just going to have to Iron Man it for the end of the race once I finish that last little swig. But we'll go back up to Paga and Spaghetti Chips. Right now, it's set to be a Renault 1-2. I think Paga's going to be aiming to spoil that party, though. Of course, Spag is on slightly older tyres, but there will be a point where the tyre life of his hards, the speed of his hards actually exceeds the speed of those mediums. So if Paga is going to get past, he needs to do it soon, otherwise his mediums will get too worn and those hards will have better pace, interestingly enough. Whereas we'll go down to Cohen because he's about to make an overtake as they go side by side through Beau Rivage. Not quite, so let's go back up to Paga and Spaghetti Chips in towards the Nouvelle Chicane. A bit of a lock up there, that's going to hurt his tyres, but it shouldn't be too bad for the Renault driver. Whereas Paga, he's staying right up his chuff. He's very, very close. With 11 laps to go, Kryptonite finally makes his pit stop and he will go on to the softs, I guarantee. And take this in, unless he's made a mistake before going into the pit switch. Hopefully he hasn't. Hopefully for him anyway. I should be impartial as the commentator. But, yeah, never know. Yeah, he's gone onto the softs and now he can push. He might be able to try and punch for that fastest lap point. In fact, let's have a look who's got the fastest lap. Torpedro ahead of him. It looks like Dropier has it. Yeah, Dropier is the fastest lap so far. Apart from Torpedro, because Torpedro, of course, crashed. Lortmans crashed on an outlap when he went straight onto the softs, unfortunately for him. No, I didn't really notice that detail previously when he went out. But 2/3 of the Grand Prix finished. 3/4 even. Oh my goodness. 2/4 would be a half, and we did that 10 laps ago, or 8 laps ago. The water source is finally gone. And it looks like Paga's struggling to keep up with Spaghetti Chips at this point in time. Through to back they go. The Ginger actually is rather close to Game Boys. So we'll have to wait and see if that Haas tries to make a move. And we can hop down to that at a moment's notice. Kryptonite, though, he only lost a few positions. And he might be able to seriously go for it on those softs. But just the overtaking around this track is really difficult. But that strategy for him has really worked out in his favour. As we go through Beau Rivage then, Paga trying to get past, but Spaghetti Chips out braking him. There's a 1/10 of a second between them momentarily. But yeah, Kryptonite's strategy is really working out in his favour. He's in 6th. That's not too bad. He only dropped a couple positions as there's a bit of a lock-up there for one of these two drivers. In towards Mirabeau Auto and into the back of the Renault goes Paga. I don't think he got any damage from that, which he's very lucky to do. But that was a bit of a punt there. And I don't know what Spaghetti Chips will be calling him under his breath behind his wheel at home. In towards Sandoval though goes the Ginger around the outside of Game Boys. Can he get the position there side by side? Squeezed into the barrier though through Beau Rivage. This is going to get risky. Towards Massenet, can he get the position? Down the inside he goes. There's contact as they're side by side, and it looks like the QBISC Game Boys is the wrong way round, and he's had a crash there. He's had to let the Renault go past. I think that's the leading driver there of Dropier. Dropier has a 24-second lead. That is absolutely insane. But absolute scenes here. Game Boys dropped it. I told you there was going to be an accident, and unfortunately there was. Kryptonite setting the fastest lap. I think he's going to be the driver who finishes with the fastest lap this evening. But CJ is going to be trying to catch up with these drivers. Kryptonite is right up the chuff of Owen Wyatt, though, as they go towards Mirabeau. The first Mirabeau, I'm going to call it, from now on, even though there's only like 9 laps left. It's kind of irrelevant anyway, but you never... Yeah, Okay then, I'll stop doubting myself and just commentate. I think that's what we're all here for anyway, as Josh Mayer goes into the pits. Kryptonite still trying to get past Owen. He might try and send one down the inside into the Nouvelle chicane. Owen's going to try and defend the inside line. And now this is going to be where Kryptonite strategy bites him in the back. Because it's just so hard to overtake around Monaco. Any other track and his strategy would have been magnificent. But unfortunately for him, it's just not going to work out, or not looking like it's going to work out here. He has got some good tyre wear management though. Tyre wear management, or just tyre management. But into Sandoval, he goes down the inside. Owen Wyatt squeezed him there. And he is going to be very annoyed about that. He just got squeezed along the main straight. He was clearly trying to send it down the inside. But in towards Massenet, he's still not going to be able to get past it. He's going to be fuming about that move there from the Red Bull. I think that Owen should have left in the room. Although, it's kind of hard to tell though, because Kryptonite didn't really have his nose prominently ahead or side by side with. I don't think he got any damage, but it just means he's going to have to wait another lap, which is going to hurt Kryptonite even more before he makes an overtake. Although, in towards the Nouvelle chicane, they're going to go side by side. It's going to be Kryptonite round the outside, which will become the inside. There's contact. He's going to have to cut the turn, but he's got the position, and that's going to be 5th there for the Alfa Romeo driver. Next is CJ Stakes. Will he be able to make it up to Paga? He needs to gain a second a lap, and that excludes overtaking CJ and Paga. He might be able to get a podium here, though. It's going to be tight for him. I'm not sure he's going to be able to manage it, though. It is all very interesting, and it is all coming together in these last few laps with 7 laps to go. The battle for third now is second even is between Spaghetti Chips and Paga. I don't know where Dropye has all this pace from. It looks like ILR1 sort of pace. Although time penalties are something we've got to worry about at the end of the race. But we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. I'd rather watch the on-track battling and not get bogged down with who did what and who cut what and got what and all that jazz. Been watching too much Top Gear lately. But look at this. Dropye is 26-second lead. That is unseen in league racing. But I think Pagasars are beginning to drop off because he's losing time to Spag now. And there's a Alfa Romeo in front of them. That looks like Dougie Falcon's about to get lapped. Although Josh Mayer, he's close behind Deneen. Is he close enough as they go through Casino side by side and towards Mirabeau? Down the inside goes the McLaren. Can he take 13th position? Yes, he does. What a move there from Josh. That was excellent. And I just about caught that, fortunately. But we'll go back up here. And Deneen is kind of close behind Josh, but Josh has taken 13th off him, so of course you've got to expect that. Actually, Deneen is dropping off rapidly. He's lost a second already. They might have had a mistake on the exit, or maybe sustained damage from that. You never know. Blue flags all over the place. We should get Sylvester singing up in there. Blue flag, blue flag, blue flag. And that's about as much singing as you're going to get from me today. Lucky you. I'm doing a solid for you there, by the way. You might not know it, but trust me, my singing is not good. It's been overcast all race. It hasn't rained yet, and I don't think it is going to rain. If it does rain at this point, there's not really going to be much chance for the drivers to pit. There won't be much point, really, and I don't think we're going to get struck by it anyway. But Kryptonite is closing up on CJ. He's got the pace to take the podium, but can he make the overtake? And that is the real question. He's 3.5 seconds off of Paga, but there's 5 laps to go, and he needs to overtake both of those for that to really have any meaning. So it's going to be close for Kryptonite. But he is putting in a seriously good show, though. Game Boy's getting a 3-second time penalty. Josh is close behind him as well. So Josh is absolutely on a mad one, trying to overtake everyone. There's the yellow flags though, and I don't know what's caused that, to be honest, as that was a sneaky late move there from Paga, trying to send it down the inside into the Nouvelle chicane. That was very, very close though, as Josh is going to overtake Game Boys, it looks like it, as they go through Sandoval in towards Mirabeau. This is going to be very different. I mean, they're dangerous out of Massenet, or towards Massenet. I'm getting so confused, it's too good, it's so close. Oh, there's contact, and FC Game Boys is in the barrier. That is heavy damage, but CJ6 has caught up to Paga, and we'll go up to this battle, because it is all closing up now. But it's sneaky look at the comments, and Torpedro had a DNF quite a long time ago there. I'm not entirely sure what happened. I think he just lost it, probably. That sort of 10-7 around Monaco. Oh, I can't tell you, unfortunately, but he did go out quite a while ago. But anyway, look at this. CJ6 has caught up. It's time for Kryptonite to catch up as well. This is becoming quite the train here for second position. Look at that. We've got 4 cars lining up behind Spaghetti Chips, trying to take this position, although Kryptonite's a bit further back. Towards the Nouvelle chicane, then CJ Slick's trying to get through. I'm not sure he's going to be able to. This is getting rather spicy. With 3.5 laps to go, it is all down to the last few laps here in Monaco, as Game Boy goes into the pits after his little knock to the front wing earlier that lap. But look at this. This is fantastic. A drop gate just with pace out of, I don't know where he's pulled it out of, but he could do a pit stop and go for fastest lap and still win the race. In fact, he might even try that, because I know other drivers are going on to the softs to try and get that. Kryptonite has caught up as well. Fast lap is actually with Josh Mayer, interestingly enough. But we're going to get rid of the tyres, because we kind of know what's going on there. It is all very close though. Look at this. The battle for second is raging. There's a 4-car train in the closing stages of the Grand Prix. This is not something you see every day, I can tell you that much. And it is all very close. Spaghetti Chips will be fighting for his life to hold off onto that second position. In towards the Nouvelle chicane then. Could we see a move here? And there's a lock-up from that Renault. That's not ideal, but it could be a 1-2 for the Renault team. You never know. And of course, it's not over till the fat lady sings. We've still got 3 laps to go though, before the checkered flag gets waved. It is just so close between these drivers. There's a lock up there, and Kryptonite is going to be battling to get through into Sandavot though. Let's watch this from on board Kryptonite's perspective. And he's just not close enough to make a move there, so I'm going to have a quick look. Go on, Paga, says Corey. Paga trying to defend that podium position. This is getting so close into Massenet, as Cohen has had a bit of an issue, and that is him not going too well at the Nouvelle chicane. We'll go back up here because CJ Slicks, Corey is the person who just commentated, CJ Slicks is so close behind this Red Bull. We could see something towards the Nouvelle chicane. It is just so close. We can't tell who's going to finish on the podium. 2.5 laps to go then. Let me know your predictions in the comments below, and we can compare them to the final result. There's a bit of a lock up there for the Alfa Romeo driver. In towards Tabag. Then, oh, there's a spin, and that's FC Game Boys, I think. Yeah, that's FC Game Boys not going the right direction through the Nouvelle chicane. That is unfortunate for him, but we'll have to continue with the race. Then he probably just, as I said in the qualifying session, might have just clipped his rear tyre on that inside barrier and sent himself round. But look at this, CJ is right up the rear end as he's been squeezed by Paga into the barrier, and that's going to give Kryptonite the exact way he needs to in towards Massenet. Paga defending for his life there. He's squeezed CJ through Beau Rivage, and CJ will be annoyed about that. He's got damage as there's a big lock up there for the Alfa Romeo 2 laps to go then, and Paga is defending as there's contact again. Paga getting a 3-second time penalty. Is there damage for Kryptonite? I can't quite tell. It is just so close. I'll have a quick look at this comment. Ouch. That's very true. As we go towards the Nouvelle Chicane for the penultimate time, down the inside goes Kryptonite. He's locked up though, and he's going to have to back off of the Red Bull there. It is so close. I'm on the edge of my seat. In fact, I could probably fall off at a moment's notice. I remember back when I used to commentate on the sofa before we're getting rid of that to charity. But before I had to move the PlayStation up temporarily to here, I tended to fall off my sofa in excitement. But right now I'm about to fall off my chair in excitement because in towards Sandevort can Kryptonite on the final lap of the race. Down the inside he goes on Paga, and it's Paga in the barrier, and that's heavy damage, and CJ6 might be able to overtake him. That is really bad news there for the Red Bull. In towards Massenet though, I think both of these drivers have damage as, no he doesn't, CJ doesn't have damage, and he's right in the back of Paga. That is bad news, and I think Kryptonite was just a bit too hot on the brakes, and that is going to be one for the stewards as my TV nearly auto slept there. It's been so long. I'll have a quick look at these comments. Sorry about the blue screening. Yeah, I can't play the stream on my phone unfortunately because I tried doing that earlier and the stream cut out. Next time I will, but there's literally no Wi-Fi in this room. This room is even further away from the Wi-Fi box than my other room. But CJ6 then for 4th place in towards the Nouvelle Chicane. Down the inside he goes. No, he's not. He's going to have to back off there. Dropier has taken the checkered flag by quite a landslide victory as well. In towards Tabac. CJ just can't get past Paga, even with Paga's damage. Through the Chiron Chicane then. Paga is going very slowly out of the last chicane into Raskas for the final time goes Paga, and it looks like he's going to be able to defend from CJ, and there's a bit of a train here. That's a laps car just behind, but Kryptonite managed to get onto the podium. But what a race there, what a drive as CJ overtakes Paga due to time penalty. So does Verstappen. Owen Wyatt, the next Rebel, across the line to take 7th place. That is going to be Tomo. What a Grand Prix that has been. Dropier and Spaghetti Chips 1-2 there for Renault, but here comes Tomo out of Anthony Nogues for the final time this evening, but it will be VRT Chapalili to be the last driver to take the checkered flag. Into Raskas then out of Anthony Nogues and across the line. Oh, a bit preemptive there, but he's got a bit of straight to go. Yeah, I would, unfortunately I couldn't watch the stream on my phone to try and get the comments up. But anyway, it's going to be 9th there for VRT Chapalili. But what a Grand Prix that was. The provisional podium finishers are Dropier, Spaghetti Chips, and Kryptonite. Oh, that was intense. And Cyril Abitable is on the podium with them today. But I think that was Cyril anyway. But the top set there for Dropier, he's going to be, that is not Cyril. Never mind. He's going to be chuffed with that. He had a 33-second lead. That's just unheard of in league racing. It's just the battles going on behind him meant he could get away with that flawlessly. And just what a race that was. That was fantastic. And we'll get through the podium interviews in just a second. But first, we'll have the finishing order. Dropier is the leader of the race, then Spaghetti Chips and Kryptonite, the last driver on the podium. Then it's going to be CJ6 for Safin RB 33, Pagananas 21, Owen Wyatt 15, D43 Tomo, VRT Chapalili, Josh Mayer, Cohen Blige, The Ginger 21, LR Deneen 69, GVISC Game Boys and Dougie Falcons. The DNS were Lawman, Cianor Pedro and KRT Luca. What a race. If you have any questions for the podium finishers, do let me know because I'm about to invite them to the party. First, it'll be Dropier, then it'll be Spaghetti Chips, and finally, we'll have to invite Kryptonite. I don't have him as a friend, though, so he'll be the last driver that we invite. And hopefully, we can invite him before the game decides, or the drivers decide they don't want to continue with that. But we'll go to Kryptonite. Hello, Dropier. I'm just inviting Kryptonite, so they won't be able to hear you. There we go. Okay. Alright then. Dropier, how did you feel about that race with a 37-second lead? Oh no, not even 37 seconds. It was 33 seconds, I think. 26. 26. Oh yeah, it closed down at the end because of the time penalty.
Penalty, which was unfair. Because like 2 people crashed in Raskas and I just avoided them by cutting the chicane.
Oh right.
Yeah, by cutting the chicane.
That's unfortunate. But you still had a win, and I don't think you're going to lose that to any amount of time penalties, to be honest. So, what have you got to say about that race then, Dropye?
I'd say it all went perfectly for me. No mistakes. Can't really say anything else.
Fair enough. I think we had a bit more action just behind you, actually, which was, well, I say just behind you, quite a few seconds behind you, which was with Spaghetti Shit. So, Spag, how did that race go for you?
Well, as you can see, my voice is gone, as this is going to be a weird interview. Alright, that was the most intense race I've ever been a part of. I was scared from lap, 13 to the end. Well, with Paga was just dealing more pressure onto me, and I withheld it because I knew I had better exits onto the DRS zone and into the tunnel and out of the tunnel, so that was good. And basically, there's an image I was thinking about during the whole race of a Formula One car of Lewis Hamilton and what's it called? Like something behind, like what's it called? Like a tow truck or something behind it, and it's just like shooting bullets. I don't know what it's called. I forgot the name of it.
Is that the wingman? Yeah.
Yeah, because I was a wingman in that relationship today.
Yeah.
I was a Vettel, and Dropje was the Leclerc, and well, yeah, GG's to everyone. GG's to Paga. Unlucky that he lost out on tyres, I think, at the end. It was a very good race to be a part of, and definitely the longest race of my life.
Alright then, Kryptonite, that was an absolutely fantastic drive from you as well. You had the strategy nailed down, and it went well for you. So what do you have to say about that race?
Exactly. I mean, I didn't practice wet conditions, so I was a bit worried at the start when I saw that the qualifying was in wet. So I did my best, qualified P9, and yeah, I was quite cautious into turn 1. I almost dropped 2 positions, but managed to keep the place, and then I was just blocked most of the race by CJ, who finished in right behind me, I think, like 3 seconds or something. But yeah, I mean, consistent laps, not that many mistakes, so yeah, good race overall.
Yeah, you just about got that overtake on Paga into Santa Bot, didn't you? That was very close.
Yeah, I mean, I hit him, but he didn't leave me that much room, so I had pretty much nowhere to go, and because I was running 9-10 wings, I had a pretty good straight line of speed, so I was able to overtake people in the tunnel or on the main straight. So yeah, that was a close call anyway.
Yeah. Alright then, is there anything else you guys want to say?
GG.
Fair enough. Alright then. Leclerc is now Ferrari's undisputed team leader after famous victory at Monza, although that is from Nico Rosberg, so take that with a pinch of salt. And on that note, thank you everybody so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the race. I certainly did, and I will see you next time. I've been Barless. Goodbye.